Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
We see a renewal of Carly rushing into Jack's Metro Court restroom and changing into a mask as Britt tells Jack that Sidwell wants her to finish the work on Ladle Island, and there's no way she can slip data off the islet undetected. Carly continues to hear in as Jack tells Britt that the only reason she hasn't been arrested is that she's useful to him. Jack orders Britt out and also hears the shower handling. He grabs his gun, heads into the restroom, and shocks Carly, who's pretending to do her makeup. They head out to the main area, and Jack yells that he came near to shooting her and asks what she's doing in his room. She claims she wanted to surprise him, and she suppositions that was a bad idea. He says she can no way do that again, especially with Valentine out there nearly. He says he nearly lost her to Valentine formerly, and that was when he realized how deeply he was in love with her. Carly ultimately heads off when Jack gets a textbook and duty calls. Is Valentine busted? At Windmere, Ava catches Valentine searching the fireplace for the switch to the secret passage, which she reveals she got relief of. She didn't know he knew Jen's, and Valentine says they go way back. Valentine does his stylish to Baranka Ava, and she offers to go get Jen's for him. Valentine says he'd rather not wrathfulness Sidwell, as he's supposed to stay unnoticeable during the day. Ava says she's sure he'd like to see him and goes to call Pascal, but Valentine disappears. Who is the riddle man? Down in her cell, before Anna can escape, another man grabs and knocks her out. Sidwell shows up and learns what happened from the riddle man. He says Anna didn't see his face, and thankfully, has no idea where she is. Jen sends Pascal up to shoot Ava home, and Sidwell argues with the man about Anna, whom the man calls a distraction from their work. They must finish Faison's work, so they need a further endless result to the problem of Anna. The man fears that too numerous people are getting apprehensive of their work, especially after the disaster with Dalton. Sidwell blames Britt for what happened at the Five Poppies. The man says Britt is a sprinkle, but she's the only bone. Who can deliver a working prototype? Sidwell knows having both Britt and Anna then's parlous, but indeed if Britt came across Anna, she wouldn't be suitable to tell anyone. In the living room, Pascal tells Ava that Jen's has been called into an important meeting, so she should head home. Ava says she needs to speak with Jen's about his guest, and she doesn't mean Lucas. Pascal goes down to the cupboards to accost Sidwell, saying that Ava needs to see him and that he should attend to this matter. Sidwell leaves, and Pascal apologizes to the man and says he wouldn't let Anna wisecrack him again. The man tells Pascal that Anna wouldn't be then important longer. Sidwell meets with Ava in the living room and says she ran into his guest on the way out. He's confused, and she says he can trust her, but is it really a good idea to be helping Valentine? Down in the cupboards, Anna begins waking up on the bottom in her room. The man tells Pascal to stick to the protocol and to flash back that Anna is always smarter than he is. Anna screams. "Who's keeping me then? What do you want?" She passes out, and Pascal says he's not falling for her tricks again and walks off. Still, it appears not to be a trick. "Do you wanna date Jason?" At the sanitarium, Jason checks in with Liz about Britt, and she says she should be back latterly. Jason goes to leave, but the head nanny stops him and asks if he's worried with her for having compassion for Willow. Jason is angry with her, and she did the right thing and told the verity on the stand. They bandy the trial and who may have actually shot Drew. Jason says Drew pushed a lot of people to the point. Liz still can't believe Willow took Drew back and must be in denial about how numerous miscalculations she's made. Jason feels the kiddies are the real victims then, and says indeed if Drew lets Scout see her family, that doesn't include Danny. Liz has to get back to work, and says she'll let Britt know he was looking for her. That's when Jason runs into Brad, who orders him to stay down from Britt. Brad says every time he rescues Britt, he makes her suppose she can count on him, but Carly or Danny will always come first. Britt shows up, and she gives Jason a moment of her time. Frustrated, Brad asks Liz for her opinion about Britt and Jason. Liz agrees Britt isn't good for Jason, but there's nothing they can do but stay out of it. Jason asks Britt if she'd like to go on a functionary date with him. She asks if it's because of the kiss on New Year's. He admits he liked seeing her on New Year's and would like to see her again. Is Alexis and Sunny's friendship over? Alexis returns to her office to find Sonny staying there. She assumes he's then because she intertwined Michael for a crime he didn't commit. Alexis says she's sorry, but Michael isn't her precedence, Scout is. Failing to acquit Willow would mean Scout would see none of Sam's family until she's 18, and that would give Drew time to underpinning her mind against them. She also says Michael probably wouldn't be charged if Willow is acquitted, but Sonny knows that Drew and the DA will want someone to take the fall for this. Alexis did what she had to do, indeed if it meant risking their friendship. Sonny says she hasn't lost his fellowship, and she thanks him for being understanding. Sonny knows Michael is an overgrown man with coffers, while Scout is a little girl with a vengeful little man for a father, who's a sorry reason for a mortal being, and she deserves better. In the show's final moments in her office, Sonny tells Alexis that if the jury finds Willow not shamefaced, at least she's not a peril to the community. Alexis mumbles, "I hope not." Sonny doesn't see Willow being able of shooting Drew. Alexis asks, what if she did it? Sonny says there's a thin line between love and hate, and indeed good people can be pushed to do bad effects. Britt admits she enjoyed spending New Year's with Jason, too. Jason says they should go out on a date also. She asks where they'd go. He says she'd have to trust him. At Windmere, Ava tells Jens that she suspected Valentine was lying to her, but played along. Sidwell assures her that Valentine isn't his guest, and he'll have his platoon sweep the islet. He asks Ava not to mention this to anyone, and she says he can count on her. In his room, Jack meets with the man working with Sidwell, whom he calls Director Cullum, and says he'd have offered to come see him at the office. The man says they've a situation. "We've lost Anna." Carly meets back with Valentine in her garret and learns he was caught by Ava. Carly calls this a disaster, but Valentine is certain Sidwell won't want the police involved, as what he's caching is on Ladle Island. Eventually, in her room, Anna gets herself up into the settee, but is easily weak. She begins to bleed from the nose and gasps, "Oh God no." General Hospital recap for Wednesday, January 14th, reveals that Jack Brennan's gun stunned Carly Spencer while Jen Sidwell's wild associate came into play. Ava Jerome also exposed Valentine Cassidy's Windmere presence to Sidwell, so then's how it all went down. In the restroom of Brennan's suite, Carly heated as Britt Westbourne complained about the new lab being on Ladle Island and how she couldn't get Brennan the data he wanted. Brennan made it clear that Britt demanded to find a result and transferred her on her way. After Brennan heard a noise, he pulled a gun on Carly in the restroom and demanded to know what she was doing there. While wearing a mask, Carly climbed to explain that she wanted to give Brennan a sizzling surprise and hoped he wouldn't be angry with her. Brennan calmed down, but he claimed Carly couldn't do effects like this when dangerous Valentine was on the loose. After Brennan hugged Carly, he got a work-related communication and had to delay their time together. At Windmere, Valentine pretended he went way back with Sidwell, but he prompted Ava Jerome not to mention their hassle since he didn't want one of Sidwell's typical scoldings. Ava turned down for a moment to call out for Pascal, so Valentine snappily dissolved on her. Down in the area where Anna Devane was being held internee, a man wearing a suit popped up behind her. Anna had the upper hand on Pascal, but she snappily lost it when this other Joe put her in a chokehold until she passed out. This riddle man soon lashed out at Pascal for falling for Anna's trick and also talked to Sidwell about demanding to move Anna to another position. There was also some debate about whether Britt Westbourne should be confined to Ladle Island, but Sidwell's apparent mate felt it'd beget too numerous problems if Britt dissolved from her life again. Pascal tried to get relief of Ava on Sidwell's orders, but she claimed on speaking to him about his guest. Sidwell came back over and quizzed Ava, who offered updates on her hassle with Valentine. Sidwell admitted that he was apprehensive Valentine was on the property and verified the sneaky Cassidy's story had been bogus. After Sidwell pledged to do a reach of the grounds, he admitted he wanted to leave the police out of it and asked Ava not to mention this Valentine sighting to anyone. Ava smiled and assured Sidwell that he could count on her. Once Pascal returned to Anna, he watched as she passed out for real this time. Pascal assumed Anna was faking it again and refused to help her. Anna ultimately recaptured knowledge, but she looked weak and had a high. Back with Brennan, he opened his suite door to the same Joe who was working with Sidwell before. The riddle man was revealed to be WSB director Ross Cullum, who showed up with bad news and claimed Anna had been lost. In Alexis Davis's office, Sonny Corinthos brazened her about going after Michael Corinthos as part of her defense of Willow Corinthos in court. Alexis made it clear that she did what she had to do for Scout Quartermain access and to help Drew Kane from swaying her against her family. Sonny eventually assured Alexis that they were still musketeers, indeed if he wasn't happy about how effects went down in court. As for the content of whether Willow was actually shamefaced or not, Sonny didn't suppose she was able of shooting Drew. That said, Sonny admitted there was a thin line between love and hate before adding that indeed good people could do bad effects. At GH, Jason Morgan spoke with Elizabeth Baldwin, who hoped he wasn't worried with her. Liz knew some people allowed. She was siding with Willow and going against Michael as a result. Jason didn't feel that way and principally conceded that Drew was the real problem. Next, Jason crossed paths with Brad Cooper, who pushed Jason to stay down from Britt and stop making her think she could be a precedence for him. Jason didn't suppose this was over to Brad and made a pitch for a functionary date tonight with Britt once she intruded. As for Liz, she pushed Brad to back off, indeed if she also allowed. Jason and Britt's connection would end in disaster. In Carly's garret, she reconvened with Valentine and participated the document snaps she snapped along with what she eavesdropped while hiding in the restroom. Carly shocked when Valentine admitted he'd had a run heft with Ava at Windmere, but he played down and misdoubted Sidwell would want to involve the Bobbies. If he set up out. General Hospital spoilers say Valentine and Carly's alliance will come with further curveballs, so stay tuned. This chapter of Port Charles does not begin with peace. It begins with fear, with hurried footsteps on tile, with breath caught in throats and truths hidden behind locked doors. It begins with baptism, not by water, but by fire, by lies, by the terrifying moment when someone realizes how close they came to dying, and how much closer they are to losing everything. Because this week, everyone is exposed. Everyone is tested. And everyone must decide whether love will save them, or destroy them. Carly Corinthos, hiding in plain sight. The replay tells the story better than words ever could. Carly Corinthos rushes into Jack Brennan's Metro Court bathroom, heart pounding, mind racing, instinct screaming. She doesn't hesitate. She doesn't pause. She does what Carly has always done best, she adapts. She grabs a robe, slips it on, and transforms herself from intruder into illusion. On the other side of the door, Britt Westbourne is still talking. Britt's voice carries frustration and urgency as she explains that Sidwell wants her work finished on Spoon Island, and that it's impossible to smuggle sensitive data off the island without being noticed. Spoon Island is sealed. Watched. Controlled. Jack Brennan doesn't sympathize. Instead, he reminds Britt of a brutal truth: the only reason she hasn't been arrested is because she's still useful. The moment that usefulness ends, so does her freedom. He orders her out. The door closes. Silence hangs. Then, water. Jack hears the shower running. Instinct kicks in. He reaches for his gun. When he storms into the bathroom, weapon raised, he doesn't find an enemy. He finds Carly, standing there, pretending to apply makeup, wrapped in a robe that barely disguises the danger she's in. The shock cuts through them both. Jack lowers the gun, but not the tension. He snaps at her, furious, shaken, demanding to know what she's doing in his room. Carly plays it smooth, claiming she wanted to surprise him, to be spontaneous, to be intimate. She smiles, but her eyes give her away. Jack isn't amused. He tells her she can never do that again. Not now. Not ever. Not with Valentine Cassadine lurking in the shadows. He admits, raw, unguarded, that he nearly lost Carly once to Valentine, and that was the moment he realized how deeply he loved her. The words land heavy. Carly eventually leaves, saved by a text that pulls Jack back into duty. But the damage is done. She's heard too much. She knows too much. And knowledge, in Port Charles, is dangerous baptism. Windermere, when lies meet stone walls. At Windmere, secrets don't whisper, they echo. Valentine Cassadine is caught red-handed, kneeling by the fireplace, searching for the switch that opens the secret passage. Ava Jerome watches him with narrowed eyes and a smile that says she already knows the truth. She tells him calmly that she removed the switch long ago. Valentine tries to bluff his way out, claiming history with Jen Sidwell, old connections, old favors. Ava plays along, pretending curiosity, offering to fetch Sidwell for him. Valentine refuses. He insists Sidwell wouldn't want to see him. He claims he's supposed to stay invisible during daylight hours. Ava doesn't believe a word of it. She moves to call Pascal. In that single moment, when Ava turns her back, Valentine disappears. Gone. Later, Ava makes it clear she knows exactly what she saw. Valentine was lying. And she intends to tell Sidwell everything, because helping Valentine Cassadine is never a harmless favor. Anna Devane, the second attack. Deep underground, Anna Devane is fighting. She nearly overpowers Pascal. She nearly escapes. And then, a presence behind her. Another man emerges from the shadows, fast and silent. He grabs Anna, cuts off her air, and puts her out cold before she can even see his face. When Sidwell arrives, the mystery man assures him that Anna didn't identify him and has no idea where she's being held. For now. But Sidwell isn't calm. He argues with the man, angry that Anna has become a distraction from their real work. Faison's work. Work that must be completed. The disaster involving Dalton already brought too much attention. Sidwell places blame squarely on Britt for what happened at the Five Poppies. The man disagrees. Britt is difficult, but she's the only one capable of delivering a functional prototype. Losing her would cripple everything. Keeping both Britt and Anna on Spoon Island is risky. But Sidwell is certain of one thing, even if Britt discovered Anna, she'd never be able to tell anyone. That confidence may prove fatal. Ava presses. Sidwell deflects. Pascal attempts to send Ava home on Sidwell's orders, claiming his boss was called away to an important meeting. Ava refuses. She insists she needs to speak to Sidwell about his houseguest, and she doesn't mean Lucas. Pascal is forced to fetch Sidwell from the tunnels. Before leaving, Pascal promises the mystery man he won't fall for Anna's tricks again. The man replies coldly, Anna won't be here much longer. Sidwell meets Ava in the living room. She casually mentions running into his guest on her way out. Sidwell pretends confusion. Ava suggests trust, then questions whether helping Valentine is really such a good idea. Sidwell assures her Valentine is not his guest. He promises to sweep the island and asks Ava not to mention this to anyone. She smiles. She agrees. But Ava Jerome never forgets. Anna bleeds. Back in her room, Anna begins to wake. Weak. Dizzy. She demands answers, who's holding her, what they want, but her strength fails her. She collapses again, slipping into unconsciousness. Pascal assumes she's faking. He walks away. This time, she isn't pretending. Later, Anna drags herself onto the couch. Her body trembles. Blood trickles from her nose. She gasps. Oh God, no. Whatever they've done to her, it's already taking its toll. Jason Morgan and the question of the heart. At General Hospital, Jason Morgan checks in on Britt through Elizabeth Baldwin. Liz tells him Britt should be back later. Before Jason can leave, Liz stops him. She asks, quietly, if he's upset with her for showing compassion toward Willow on the stand. Jason isn't angry. Liz told the truth. That's all that matters. They talk about the trial. About Drew Kane. About how many people he pushed to the edge. Liz admits she can't understand why Willow took Drew back, or how deep her denial must be. Jason says the real victims are the children. Scout. Danny. Even if Drew allows Scout access to Sam's family, Danny is excluded. Jason sees that injustice clearly. As Liz returns to work, Brad Cooper appears, and unloads on Jason. Brad demands Jason stay away from Britt. He accuses him of rescuing her just enough to give her hope, only to abandon her when Carly or Danny need him. Britt arrives before things escalate. Jason asks her out. Not casually. Not vaguely. An official date. She asks if it's because of their New Year's kiss. Jason admits he liked seeing her. He wants to see her again. The choice is hers. Alexis and Sunny, friendship on trial. Alexis Davis returns to her office to find Sunny Corinthos waiting. She assumes he's furious, and she's right. Alexis admits she implicated Michael to protect Scout. Failing to acquit Willow would mean Scout losing access to Sam's family until adulthood, leaving Drew free to poison her against them. She insists Michael likely won't be charged. Sunny isn't convinced. The DA will want someone to pay. Still, Sunny surprises her. He tells Alexis she hasn't lost his friendship. Michael is a grown man. Scout is a child with a vindictive father. She deserves better. Final moments, truth and threats. Sunny wonders aloud, if Willow is acquitted, at least she won't be a danger to the community. Alexis murmurs, I hope not. Sunny admits even good people can be pushed too far. Love and hate share a thin line. Elsewhere, Britt admits she enjoyed New Year's with Jason. They agree to go on a date. She asks where. Jason tells her she'll have to trust him. At Windmere, Ava updates Sidwell about Valentine. Sidwell promises discretion. No police. No exposure. In Jack's suite, the mystery man reveals himself. WSB Director Ross Cullum. He delivers devastating news. They've lost Anna. In Carly's attic, she reunites with Valentine. She shares what she overheard. He tells her Ava caught him. Carly calls it a disaster. Valentine insists Sidwell won't involve the authorities, because what he's hiding is far worse. And in a dark room on Spoon Island, Anna Devane bleeds, and the baptism continues.